Hello everyone, this is Orlando from A Collector's Dream, and I just got back the SGC order that I submitted just a week ago. So I want to thank Boca Card Subs for getting those cards in and out right away from SGC. Much appreciated. So I got them back, and I'm going to divide this up in a few videos because I have over 100 cards to show. So I'm going to show first of all the vintage cards, my favorite. The older the better for me. So I'm going to show the 50s and the 1950s and the 1960s cards. So I'm going to begin right away with the 1959 Warren Spahn, and this is the All-Star card here, and that gets a 7. It's the Sporting News Warren Spahn. I'll give you a good look at that card. It's in very nice condition, very sharp corners, and that gets a 7. It's a very nice grade for that card. So that's the Warren Spahn. Next is the Corsair Outfield Trio, and that has Clemente and Skinner and Verdon. 1959. A 5. That's the 59 Corsair Trio. Let's take a look at that card. It's pretty nice. Just basically it's off-centered. Now comes card number 464. That's the Maris catch that makes the series history. This is his famous catch that he made in the World Series. A 6. That's Maris catch. Give you a good look at that card. 6. Next is Mantle hits his 42nd homer for the Crown. Baseball Thrills 461. His 42nd home run, he won the home run title that year. And there it is, an A5. Still a Mantle card, and a nice Mantle card. Now this is one of the common players that I wanted to grade because I have the whole set of these 59s, and I tried to get, one that looked really good, and I have a whole bunch of them that look just like this Billy Pierce that I'm going to show you now. So I wanted to see how it would grade. I was hoping it would grade, a 9 or something like that, and it graded an 8. This was a really nice card, nicely centered. Like I said, I have a lot of commons like this one. So I was hoping it would get a nicer grade. But an 8 is still nice for a 1959 card. It's Billy Pierce in an 8, 1959. This is the National League Hitting Stars. And this one had some bad staining in the back. Wax staining. But it was a Willie Mays, so I figured I'd send it in and get it slabbed anyway. So I didn't expect a high grade because of all that staining in the back. And yeah, I got a 3.5. 3.5. The card was sharp in the front, but the wax in the back really killed it. But that's part of my set, so that'll remain in my collection for now. So Willie Mays, Richie Asper. Now we're going to get into the 62s. These, beginning with this. These are the 62 stamps, and these came in the packs with the cards of 1962, and this is how they came in the whole panel. And these are the panel. It's hard. You can usually find the individual cards. You can see how this one's kind of a little torn. You could tear them apart and put the stamps in a book, and that's what these were made for. But these were in the original panel, the same way they came in the packs. So they're a little bit tougher to get. This is the Hank Aaron with a 1.5. Very tough to grade. They're basically stamps, so it's very easy for them to get damaged. And they do take some off, because this one looked like it was, like I showed you in the back, looked like it was partially separated there, and that will reduce the grade to a 1.5. Still a nice card in my collection. It's an Aaron card, and I'm glad to have it. It's way off center too. So let's see the other stamps panels. Let's see how we did with those. This is another one of those stamp panels. You can see this one is nice and clean in the back. This hasn't been separated. I expect a much better grade in this one. And this got a 4.5. That's the Brooks Robinson. 4.5 stamp panel. 1962 top stamp panel. It's the whole piece, including the part that says Topps Baseball Stamp Album. The album was 10 cents. So that's the Brooks Robinson stamps panel. Graded a 4.5. Now one more of these. And again, this one is pretty good, off-centered. And this is a 6, very nice on this one, Duke Snider. That's the Duke Snider, 1962 Topps Stamps panel in a 6. And that's a great grade for those cards. For these stamps, you don't find them much higher than a 5 usually. So these are really nice to get in a 6. Again, those came in the packs of cards with these 1952 cards. This is a 1952 Rookie Parade, and this is the Joe Pepitone rookie card from 1962, high number, and it gets a 5.5. And there's the Joe Pepitone rookie card and a 5.5. Next comes the Duke Snider, 1962. The rest of these cards I'm going to show you are all 1962s. Like I said before, I have the whole set, and I pulled out the stars to grade. It's number 500, Duke Snider, 5.5. It's a very nice card, very nice color, very nice eye appeal. Maybe could have graded a little bit better on some of these. SGC is getting very, very tough with the vintage. They've always been tough with vintage. But these are really, really beautiful cards. 5.5 for the Duke Snider. Next comes the Whitey Ford. this is the Whitey Ford high number. I think it's the All-Star version here. Number 475, Whitey Ford gets a 5. This one, I would have gotten something better with that. That's a nice card, nicely centered. Well, it's a little off-center, but still. It's a 5. You know, a lot of times these, remember, these are opinions from the graders, so, they have good days and bad days. You never know what to get from them. And again, it's an opinion. You can get another opinion from somebody else. You send it in to grade. A lot of people regrade stuff, and you get usually, different results sometimes. But anyway, these are beautiful 62 cards. Very sharp corners. Centering is usually problems with those. This is the Luis Aparicio Sporting News All-Star, and that gets a 5.5. That does have a little bit of chipping here, but it's a beautiful card. 5.5. Luis Aparicio. Sporting News All-Stars. The Brooks Robinson. Brooks Robinson, Sporting News All-Stars. I'll show you the back. In case anybody wants to read the back, you could always pause the video and read it. It tells a story back there of how they did during their season. And this one gets a 5.5. Next comes this is the Ken Hubbs. Ken Hubbs was at one time a top prospect. He said it on here. Ken is an exciting young rookie that Chicago's grooming for a job. So he was gonna take over here for the veterans and the Cubs. Not Ernie Banks, but other players there. He was supposed to be the next big thing, like happens all the time. Very few prospects actually pan out, and he didn't pan out. I think he passed away very early in his life, and this is his rookie card. So it's a desirable card for 1962 set collectors, and in the 6, it's a good condition, very, very good condition card for the 62s, which 62s, as you know, because of that wood grain border, are very, very tough to grade, very tough to keep that border intact. Here comes the Jim Bunning, and Jim Bunning gets 5.5. Looks like it's a 5.5 kind of day for the grader. He's got to make up his mind, give me a 6 on these, because these really deserve that. Like I said, these are opinions. This guy, whoever graded these, had a day of giving, looks like halves. Here we go. Here's a Don Drysdale. Six and a half. Yep, just like I said, 5.5, 6.5. I'd rather get 6 or 7, just some real, it's tough to comp half grade cards. So a lot of times, I'd rather have a 7 or a 6. And again, that's their opinion, because this 6.5 looks just like this 5.5 to me. But no, that's a good grade for 62 card there. Early win. Here's the early win card, number 385. Again, they all look sharp corners. Hall of Fame pitcher. Early win gets a 5.5. It's a 5.5 kind of day with a grader. And look at that card, nicely centered. You know, you really don't see hardly any chipping on those cards. Looks like at least a 6 to me, maybe even a little better, but it's a 5.5. Still, with these old cards, you know, the grade is important, but a grade here or there, really the eye appeal is the key here. And this is the Yogi Berra. The key on these cards, a lot of these, is how they look. And these all look sharp because they've been boxed up for many years. And let's see what the Yogi gets. A 7. Oh, that's a good one for a Yogi. And that's centered nicely. A little bit of chipping up there, but like I said, these people give you their opinion. They give me a 7. This one probably should have been more like a 6 in my opinion. The other one should have been more like a 7. But I'll take the Yogi Berra and a 7. That's a great grade for Yogi, and it does have great eye appeal. Very, very nice image. Very well-centered card. So a nice 7 for the Yogi Berra 1962. Next comes the Frank Robinson. Oops, I dropped the mic here. This is the Frank Robinson, number 350. And Frank gets 6.5. That's a nice card. Six and a half for Frank Robinson. Very nice. Next comes Mickey Mantle. And this is not his Mickey Mantle card here, but it is Mickey Mantle, but you'll see what this one is. It's the hitter connects. That's a 5. A little low on that. I would have liked a little bit better grade on that one. But it is off center with a little chipping. So that's the Switch Hitter Connects 1962 Mickey Mantle. Hitting one of his famous home runs. He graded a 5. Now comes Billy Martin. Nice sharp card. Billy gets a 6. You know, anything a 6 and above for these 62 cards is really a good grade. You know, I always would want to get 7, 8s, you know, maybe even a 9 every once in a while, but it's a nice card, and it's in a 6, and it's Billy Martin. So I'll take. Here comes the Babe. Babe hits 60. This is one of the special inserts in the set. And here it is, and it's a 6. Any Babe Ruth card with a 6 is a good Babe Ruth card. Babe hits 60. This is the 1962 subset. It's the Babe Ruth special subset. That was part of the 1962 set. There were no inserts in those days. They just did kind of like these type of insert cards. But they were considered always part of the set. In a 6, the Babe hit 60. Well, these are some of my favorites. These are home run leader cards. And this is number 54. And this gets a 5. It does have some print marks on here, and that's probably one of the main reasons it gets the 5, because the corners are nice. And that's got 3 Hall of Famers: Orlando Cepeda, Willie Mays, and Frank Robinson. And that gets a 5. The home run leaders, 1962. Now comes the Stan Musial card, number 50. Very underrated player. Stan Musial was an incredible player, a true Hall of Famer. No question about it. And he gets a 5.5. Yeah, it's a 5.5 again. And it looks good. Just this one is a little more off center. But it's a 1962 Stan Musial, and a 5.5 is still a good grade. Next comes the Brooks Robinson, number 45, 62 Brooks Robinson. And Brooks gets a 4. Oh, I'm very disappointed in this one. My favorite player, and he gets a 4. It doesn't even look like a 4. How did that get a 4? Corners look good there. A little bit of the corners, but really not too bad. Again, these are opinions, and my opinion, this is not a 4. I would give this at least a 5. It's a beautiful card. Great player, Hall of Famer, Brooks Robinson. This is the Tom Trush rookie. This is for the Yankee fans, and I'm a Yankee fan too, so this is a rookie card of Tom Trush from 1962. And Tom gets a 6. This is a card a lot of Yankee fans are interested in. It's not an easy card to get, especially in this type of condition. It's his rookie card. Tom Trush, great Yankee player, gets a 6. See, I tell you, what's the difference between these two cards? Not a lot. So, I don't know. That gets a 6, that gets a 4. That's their opinion. Okay, moving on. But even these cards, like I said, anytime you get a 62 card and a 6, or even higher than a 5, and it's got good, looking card, it's well worth it. Well worth getting these graded. You don't want to damage these. These are easily damaged. So here comes the Ernie Banks, and Ernie Banks is a 5.5. Yeah, another 5.5. This one does have some corner wear there, so I'm good with that. And a little tiny touch on the corners. But other than that, it's a nice picture, nice card of Ernie Banks in a 5.5. Next is the checklist card, the first checklist, number 22. First checklist usually, and the last checklist are the toughest to get in the best condition. So this is the checklist card, number 1. And this gets a 6. For the set collectors out there, the checklists are very important for them to get. And remember, a lot of these were checked off and marked off. So that reduces the inventory of the checklists over the years. And not many people the kids really didn't even take care of the checklists. They marked them, threw them out, threw them away. So a lot of checklists tend to be expensive, especially in a higher grade. And for a 62 6 checklist, got Roger Maris, number 1 card. So it's decided to get it graded. And the next one is Jim Kaat, another Hall of Fame player, underrated, played for many, many years, over 20 years, and Jim Kaat gets a 6. So that's a nice card, Jim Kaat, Hall of Fame pitcher. It's a 6. Nicely centered. Nice card. Next comes the Clemente, and the Clemente is number 10. One of the best players. I know John Mangini loves him, loves all the Pirates, but everybody loved Clemente, and unfortunately, tragically, he passed away donating his time and his money to victims. So the Clemente 62 gets 5.5. It's a 5.5 kind of day. Again, I think this card deserves a better grade. I really do. It's nicely centered. Corners are nice. It's a nice eye appeal. Just has a little tiny thing on the bottom left-hand corner, maybe a tiny bit. But overall, it's a beautiful Clemente. This grader had a 5.5 type of day. A lot of these came out 5.5 or 6.5. But like I said, give me the 6 on this one at least. That was a beautiful card there. That deserves a little bit better rating. And the last one in the set, which, well, I went backwards. So it's a number 1 card in the set, and it's the Roger Maris card. Like it says here, at that time he was the most talked about player of the decade. He went on to record to the record books as the only man ever to hit 61 home runs in a season. And this was, they gave him the number 1 card in the 62 set after hitting 61 in 61. So here goes the Roger Maris is a 6. Okay, good. At least it wasn't a 5.5. So that's a nice card, nicely centered. There's a tiny bit of chipping on this side here, but nice, sharp, pretty sharp card. A little bit of chipping on that edge. But got a 6. I'll take the 6. So those are the grades from my 62 cards. So I will go ahead and reveal some of the other ones as soon as I can within the next few days. Like I said, I have 104 cards that I graded, and this is the first batch. I'm going to take probably 2 or 3 videos to show you all of them. So just want to thank everyone for watching my channel. Go back and look at some of the other videos that I have. Got a lot of my first vintage card reveal had the rest of my 1962 stars in it. I did graded really well with those. These were almost as good. Some of them were good. Some of them were too many 5.5s for me. So anyway, everybody, have a great day. Have an awesome day. And I'll see you next time.